This is Zach. This is Chloe. This is Zach and Chloe. They're the two high school students I recruited to help me review, revise, and critique my Multiple Intelligences and Nonfiction Multi-Genre project. For this project, students are to take a multiple intelligences inventory to learn which is their most developed intellect. Students will then select a notable figure who exhibits their same type of intelligence. Next, students will choose and read a work of nonfiction about their selected person. The final step is to create a multi-genre project focused on 3 topics: their intellect and themselves, their intellect, and their selected person. The first step for the Multiple Intelligences and Nonfiction assignment is to take a Multiple Intelligences inventory. Second is to note the highest type of intelligence. These can be out of 8 types. There's verbal linguistic, logical mathematical, musical, visual spatial, kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalistic. The third step is to begin to brainstorm public figures throughout history who have the same type of intellect you received. Fourth is to generate a list of 2 to 3 people, then submit the list to me for discussion and approval. Fifth, choose one person, then begin to search for biographies, autobiographies, interviews, and other types of resources to use as your nonfiction resources. The sixth step is to generate a list of potential nonfiction resources and review this list with me. 7 is to select 1 to 3 nonfiction sources. This depends on the quality and the length of your sources. The 8th step is to choose 3 genres that you think will best illustrate the most developed intellect, how that intellect relates to you, and how that intellect relates to your selected person. The 9th step is to meet with me to discuss your genre choices, and the last step is to complete the multi-genre project by November 1st, 2010. Zach had already completed a multiple intelligences inventory and he emailed me with his results, so I had him start to review, revise, and critique my assignment sheet. While Zach looked over the assignment sheet, I had Chloe take a multiple intelligences inventory. Zach's still giving me feedback while Chloe works on her inventory. Both Zach and Chloe said they had experience working on multi-genre projects, and both said that they encountered them in English classes. Chloe finished her multiple intelligences inventory. She scored the highest on naturalistic intelligence. People with high naturalistic intelligence tend to be good at finding patterns and relationships to nature. They're also good at categorizing and cataloging information pretty easily. Here Zach and Chloe are comparing their inventory results. Zach scored highest in musical intelligence. People with high musical intelligence tend to be good at thinking in patterns, rhythms, and sounds. People with high musical intelligence usually enjoy singing and playing musical instruments. They also can easily recognize musical patterns and tones. They're good at remembering songs and melodies, and often have a rich understanding of musical structure and rhythm. Potential career choices for people with high musical intelligence are musicians, composers, singers, music teachers, and conductors, just to name a few. Some people with high musical intelligence that Zach could choose from for his multi-genre project are Mozart, Bob Dylan, and Ray Charles. Some potential careers for those with naturalistic intelligence are farmers, botanists, conservationists, biologists, and environmentalists. Also, some famous people that might be chosen from for the multi-genre project are Charles Darwin and E.O. Wilson. This is the feedback that I received from Zach. He liked the idea of having to discuss ideas with the professor, but he also suggested maybe having students discuss ideas with each other in small group discussions or as a whole class discussion. As I mentioned before, Zach scored highest on musical intelligence. He was pretty happy about it. One of the things Zach really seemed to like was the fact that he'd be getting to make a connection between himself and a person throughout history, not just on an interest base or activity base, but on an intellectual level, something that they both had in common. I think that he was drawn to the idea of this being a deeper kind of connection rather than just we both like soccer or we both like the color blue. It's more of a deep intellectual connection. You both have the same type of intelligence, the same intellectual strengths. As I said before, Zach has had experience working with multi-genre projects. And I think that he really liked the idea of working with and learning about his multiple intelligences types, not just the highest type of intellect, but also the other types. I think having something that's individual and unique to each student is a great way to connect the material to them and make them more interested in it because they can see that it actually reflects themselves, their strengths, and their interests. While Zach explained his feedback to me a little bit, I had Chloe work on the reviewing, revising, and critiquing aspect of her assignment sheet. Chloe threw in some visual cues to help me understand her feedback a little better. Her highest types of intelligences were naturalistic, interpersonal, and kinesthetic. Chloe liked the idea of keeping open communication with students when I had them bring their ideas to me about their person of choice, their sources that they were going to use, and the types of genres that they were thinking about using for their projects. Multi-genre projects seem to fit really well into an English language arts curriculum. They fit many different types of intellects and interests and academic strengths and weaknesses. They express creativity and they're a little more open-ended than straight multiple choice tests, true or false tests. Students get to actually demonstrate a little more of what they've learned, how they've connected it to other things, and I think that this is really, really good for English classrooms. English is often strongly tied in with history, and I think that this is really clear in this particular project, the Multiple Intelligences and Nonfiction Assignment Project. Students choose people throughout history, so they need to know the context surrounding the person's biography or autobiography, facts and details about their life, and how their intellectual strength worked for them or maybe against them in their life. So it's a good thing that Chloe has a strong interest in history as well. Getting feedback from high school students was very helpful, and it sounds like the project that I made with maybe a few adjustments might be appropriate and maybe even successful in my high school classroom one day.